Well, howdy folks. We're back at it again. Got the old Power Stroke in the shop again. I'm working on a couple little projects and I thought I'd show them off to you guys. So, of course, we live in Alaska. It's currently like 1:30 in the afternoon, and here in about another hour, it is going to be pitch black out there. So, of course, you need good lights. I like my stock headlights on this truck. They're plenty fine. And just like my Highboy, I like the stock lights on that thing. I added the round lights to the bumper of my Highboy, and that's all I've ever really needed. But for this thing, I wanted to do something a little different. I didn't really want to drill holes in my bumper to mount, big KC daylighters, or I kind of honestly hate light bars. It's just how I am, except this truck has these square pockets in the bumper. This was a diesel truck thing that Ford did on the OBSs, so that's kind of an easy way to tell a diesel OBS Ford is by these holes. I don't think that any of the gassers got these, but kind of more airflow for the radiator was, I do believe, is what they were trying to do with it. It really doesn't matter that much, but I took it as an opportunity to mount some lights in here, and I think it looks pretty cool. I would have gone with round lights. I typically prefer them, except obviously if the hole's square, we put the square lights in there. So I picked these little lights up from Amazon. These are cheapy ones. I think the yellow set was like $18 and the white set was like $15 for a pair of them. The other two are right here on this other bracket. And then, yeah, I just whipped up these brackets real quick. You can see this one. I mean, they are far from perfect or very refined, but they go behind the bumper and you're not going to see it, which is great. And I just like the way they turned out. Especially, you can see how this one is in there. I got this one all tightened up and adjusted, and I'm really digging the way it looks. So all I've got to do is wire this one in. I've got to mount that one. But yeah, I thought I'd show that to you guys. There is a company that actually makes the brackets that you can mount lights back there, and I could have gotten those, but they're like $100, and I just used scrap steel I had kicking around for these that I whipped up. And there's already holes back here that I was able to bolt them into. So it's not even like I had to drill holes anywhere. There, you can see my bumper's kind of ripped out. I'm hoping that second bracket will work fine, but that hole and that hole are centered on the pocket here. You can see this other one. Got the big old fender washers up in there to sort of hold the bracket in place, because I got a little sloppy and didn't want to drill holes precisely to get those mounted, but it worked out fine. So anyways, if I can get back up now, thought I'd show you guys that. And then I've got another little project I'm working on, but I'm going to do a little more on that so I can actually show it to you and the whole idea will, make some sense. But yeah. Alrighty, just got the second one put in there. That one took a little bit of tweaking to get it just right, but the reason why I just cut slots in them for the bolts is so that I can adjust the brackets as need be. Of course, my bumper's not level. It's got the typical OBS Ford sag going on over here because they were yoinking on those tow hooks something good and bent the bumper. So that's not cool, but I think the lights turned out pretty decent. That outside yellow one's crooked, but that's just going to annoy me, and then someday I'll fix it. But for right now, we'll leave her as she is and get to work on the next little project. Alrighty, when the workbench is this messy, I'm up to something interesting. So this is my next little project. I got it all just kind of tacked together here. Obviously, these hinges are just like gate hinges from the hardware store. But what we got going on here is I've made this guy to mount underneath my flatbed, and I can hang my chains on these J-hooks. And something that I always worry about with hanging chains off J-hooks, it's a pretty common practice for trucks with flatbeds or like tractor trailers. They'll usually have J-hooks and they can just hang their chains on them, and you probably never lose them. I always worry about the one time you might lose them. So that's why I built this little guy, put this hinged cover up here. So that guy goes down, and then I've got a little snap pin that holds it all together. That way when you're going down the road, your chains don't accidentally fall out. Somebody might have a bad day if they run those over, and you're going to have a bad day when you lose your chains. So the only thing that I need to do now is build little brackets to actually bolt this up under the flatbed. It's going to go over here on the passenger side. That's why I turned the pickup around. So probably right about there. I'm going to do some half forward mud flaps, some shorty ones to keep the rear tires from flinging snow and whatnot forward. So, and those will fill up a lot of the space. This thing's really long. In case you guys didn't know, it's a 10-foot flatbed, and then the rear axle is pushed all the way to the back. So there is a lot of dead space in here, which doesn't look half bad, but you might as well use it. So I built my chain hanger there, and then I want to do a couple of underbody toolboxes on this thing in the future. So, yeah, I think my chain bracket doodad thing will go back here on this cross member here. And yeah, but I want it to be low enough that that lid can flip up, obviously. So I'm going to need to space it down 2 or 3 inches from the bottom here. So it's a little work in progress. I've never really done anything like it or tried to, so yeah, I just need to figure out how tall that is. I want this to be able to flip kind of back enough that it doesn't keep flopping down when you're trying to get your chains out of there, because nothing would be more annoying than needing to use your tire chains, and then you've got this dumb little lid that's like, will only open up to there, so every time you walk away it flops down and it's in your way. So you want it to fold back enough it stays up. As I was saying, if I wasn't able to get this little lid to fold back enough it would stay up, I'd get a little heavy-duty magnet that would hold it up. Because like I said, that would get annoying, and it would be a reason why a lot of trucks don't have the little lid on their, you know, their chain hangers. So anyways, that's a fun little project. It'll alleviate that bungled up mess of junk. And somewhere up there under that square body tailgate is my dually chains for the rear of this thing. I just grabbed those out of the shop here and threw them in the flatbed. So yeah, it'll alleviate an issue. I've not found a single way other than hanging your chains up that they don't get all bunged up in a mess. If you put them in your toolbox, they get in the way of everything. They're big and heavy, so when you need them, you're reaching up here, then you have to lift them up. And if they're just on the flatbed like that, then they'd be kind of easy to steal. Not a common thing that somebody would want to steal your tire chains, but worst case scenario, you could throw a little padlock on this guy and stop people, which is better than nothing, I reckon. So anyways, I'm going to finish burning these hinges in with the welder, and then figure out my mounts, and then this guy will get some nice rust-proof paint so it doesn't look like crap. Alrighty, I got the little thing all burned together with the welder and gave it a quick test fit under here. I think it comes out a little more than I would have liked it to, but something to think about for next time. I think I can actually shave that end and scooch this over just a little more. It's not, the chain should hang straight down, so I do have a little room before, well, the road basically. But yeah, there she is. Pretty good look. Great thing about this is that nobody's really gonna see my welds unless you're literally standing under the flatbed like I am right now. This wire needs to get moved. You can see it's just zip tied under there, so that's got to get kind of scooched out of the way of the lid, but I got enough room for the lid, so once that wire's moved, the lid can flip all the way up. You can get your chains out, and yeah, I'm super happy with how that turned out. Obviously, it's just clamped in there right now. I need to measure out and drill holes in that cross member there to actually finally mount that. But yeah, and then we'll have a mud flap here, so the tires obviously won't soak the chains in snow and everything. And yeah, there she is. I'm actually really impressed with how kind of low profile it ended up being. I thought with the little lid it would end up like hanging really low. Alrighty, I just had to C-clamp this in and throw a couple chains on it, see how it looks, and it looks pretty mean. I like that. And of course, whenever I need my tire chains, they're right there. They're not all, you know, tangled up in the toolbox or on the flatbed or something. They're right there. I can look at them. They did end up being a little lower than I would have liked, but I think it all matters how you get them up in here. But we got, I don't know, maybe 10 inches there. Yeah, it's a little lower than the bumper, but that was kind of my measuring device. If the chains hang lower than the bumper, then I want them to be a little higher. Or I guess the rear end too, but so long as they don't fly back into the tire, you really don't have anything to worry about. And we got plenty of swing unless the rear axle's moving forward, which I sure hope it isn't. So yeah, maybe I might make some adjustments and see if I can't move it up, trim this. Oh, there goes my light. Hold on. All right, we're back. I might make some adjustments and trim the lid a little shorter so I can move this up some. But I don't know, there's quite a bit of ground clearance there. And of course, if I ever am going through rough terrain and I'm worried about my chains catching on stuff, I can just take them off. That's the great thing about it. So yeah, anyways, we got our chain brackets and we got the lights mounted up front here. She's looking pretty good. I want to thank everybody for hanging out and with these little fabrication projects with me. I'll have my chain hanger bracket there all painted up, and I'll get ready to get that all mounted in, and then I'll have a nice home for my tire chains when I'm not using them. Alrighty, well, with all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed my couple little fabrication projects I've been working on here. I'm no professional fabricator or anything like that, but I think they turned out pretty nice. And I certainly like the way they turned out. The lights and the chain hanger will be real handy on this thing. So yeah, anyways, with all that said, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's, and say thanks for hanging around another year and watching all the shenanigans that I put on video for you guys to watch. Hope you guys are digging the Power Stroke as much as I am. I've absolutely enjoyed this thing since I've owned it. The turbo rebuild we did here a couple weeks ago, it still works fantastic. I'm really enjoying it. The pedestal leaked for a little bit and then it stopped the next day, so it just got a couple heat cycles in and called it a day. So anyways, thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys on the next one.